In this video, I'm going to cover how to balance meta testing. Testing correctly is the most important skill for any marketer in any channel, hands down. Data teaches us how to win, but without proper testing, our data is useless. Within my Facebook ads audits, for example, I'm running these every single week. Testing is the #1 fail that I see, especially in the Meta platform.
That is disappointing.
We are going to cover in this video what is good testing, what factors to be considering within your testing, how to balance that testing within a good testing matrix, and finally a simple example actually showing this all put together. I'm going to try to keep this as short and jam-packed with knowledge as I can, so I'm just going to ask you once, if you do find yourself enjoying this video, please do hit the subscribe button, it makes me so happy. Now let's get into it. #1, what is good testing? In my eyes, good testing, you just want to be thinking back to those days of your science classes back at school. You want to have a good, clean test. So what does that mean? You generally want to be just testing one thing at a time. You want to get rid of kind of extraneous variables that could be destroying the test. So let's say I'm testing the image. I just need to make sure that I don't have other factors that could change that. For example, if I use a completely different copy in one with a testimonial, and in the other it's a long descriptive text of the product value, and then I'm testing the two images, of course it could also be that the copy is different, or using different audiences I see, or lots of automated, dynamic, kind of creative stuff going on that could easily change other factors within the ad, and so the result's not a fair test. So good testing is all about making sure you're just testing a single factor at a time, generally speaking, or at least in a way that you know that these factors don't overlap with each other and destroy the validity of that test. And the other important part is the quantity of results. So you're not just seeing one sale come through and suddenly deciding that this ad is better than this. One really vital thing to mention at this point as well is tracking. I did do another whole video about tracking, which you can watch. I'll put a link to it somewhere up here or here, and I really recommend doing that because especially in the meta ad platforms, I talk about the quantity of conversions. Well, that can change a lot if you're using your third-party tracking software or not. #2 I'm going to talk about is what factors to be considering within your testing. So these factors are the different types of creative is #1. It's the most obvious, and by creative I mean image or video or carousel, that kind of thing. And then another side to creative is the copy. That's another really major factor that can make a massive difference. Of course, the audience is the third kind of really big one that we should be looking at. So whether that's interest-based or lookalikes or just the whole country, all sorts of different types that you might be playing with. These are the really obvious ones. So creative in terms of the image or the visual or whatever it is, the video, and then we've got the copy and then the audience. But there is a lot of other things that you can be testing which people often forget about. It could be, for example, the objective. So if you're going for conversions, and what kind of conversions, because not all are equal. There's add to basket, there's purchase, etc. Or traffic or video views, or you could be testing the length of your remarketing audiences. So say some people might do a 90-day remarketing audience, anyone who's engaged with you in 90 days, and others might do 14 days or 40 days. So that's something that you can test. So what factors to consider? The three big ones: audience, creative, and copy. And then there's lots of others beyond that. #3 is how to balance those factors in your testing matrix. So this was a very specific question I had just recently, and I wanted to make sure I covered it well for him. The answer is you want to be understanding where the biggest questions are that you're trying to solve with your testing. So for example, if you already know somehow, because maybe there were some previous ads run, that videos do so much better than the images or the carousels, or maybe that you just don't really have very many images and you have loads of videos. So you're going to do video. That's kind of almost been chosen for you for some reason. And so then you don't need to do much testing there. And so you can move the weight of this balance towards the audiences and the copywriting that you're going to be doing and other factors maybe. At the beginning, if we're working with a new company, for example, you want to kind of weight this very balanced across everything. So in the testing that I do, I try to make sure that I'm doing some testing on basically every single major factor. So it might be like 3 audiences, 2 copies, and 3 creatives or something. I'm going to show you an example of that later in the video that'll hopefully make this really easy for you. But I might start in that very balanced way, and then I'll look at what the results say. And if I believe that the creative is the big issue still, then I'll maybe drop down to the winners of the audience and the copy and put in 5 to 10 new creatives to try to improve on that area of the funnel or the process process of the ad altogether to getting results for you. So you're kind of thinking about where you need to move the weight of this testing machine towards the factors that you think are weakest is really what it comes down to. So those are the really big factors that I consider in terms of what is good testing and how to optimize your testing, etc. And now let me show you a really easy example. I'm going to show this on screen now. So what you can see here is we have a testing mix of a carousel versus a single image and a video with 2 different copies and 3 different audiences. That's the top of funnel, so that's the cold campaigns that we would be creating. And you can see I've split this up with each different creative being at campaign level and then the audience testing at ad set level. And we would always do ad set level budgets. And that means that then you can make sure that, for example, each of those ad sets might spend £10 per day. And so across this entire set of campaigns, everything is going to be spending equally, which is really vital within your testing. And then on the bottom of funnel, this is already, you need to be spending £2,000 or £3,000 or £4,000 a month to be able to do the testing matrix, which I'm talking about here. So the bottom of funnel might seem small, but actually when you're considering the budgets that you might be starting with, quite possibly, this is actually quite significant already. So in this case, we'd be testing the carousel versus a video versus another type of copy. But we would be doing the single same audience. In my case, I really like, especially with e-commerce or lead gen, the 45-day remarketing stack where we combine all these audiences. Again, I have another video on that you'll be able to find on my channel if you're interested. So that's a really simple example of the kind of thing I would set up. I hope this explanation was clear and comes in of use. This video was done because a guy called Gerardo Benavides commented on another of mine videos and asked for this topic to be covered. So if you'd like me to do a video about a particular topic, some part of the world of ads or marketing or business, or I do a lot of organizational kind of content as well, well then comment below. I do pay attention and I react to those. It was only a couple weeks ago that guy commented on my video. And otherwise, please do hit to subscribe so that I get to see you in the next one.
Take it seriously. I think you're going to find a lot of good answers in here.